can we call it really a beginning of World War III? So
On
you are
the
saying
economic front,
that from non-alignment we are moving towards multi-alignment.
and now we want to counter the Eurocentric narrative which prevails in world affairs. As said by our foreign minister, that the European problems are not the problems of the world, and they need to understand that global South has some different issues. And there's a word prevails in the subject called security dilemma that states go for power.
Hello sir, welcome back again. And today, as the viewers might have seen, that this discussion is a very serious one, because a lot of the times we have been the students of UPSC and we have read as to how World War One happened, World War Two happened, and the interesting thing is that whenever they were about to begin, no one had a clue that these small conflicts, tensions between two neighbors leading to allies and partnerships will one day result into such large scale wars. Although it's a misnomer to call them world wars, we know that they were largely European wars,
conflicts.
but that is the problem of our humanities subject, that everything is centered around Europe. But nonetheless, they are the largest war that the world has ever seen. And even if you look at the Second World War, no one had any idea as late as 1938 and 39 that it will turn up into such a large hostility. What has been happening in last 2 years? I can see a lot of correlation. There are so many conflicts. So Israel is engulfed in war initially with Palestine. Now it has increased, and it has along with it taken to more countries. Iran, along with Lebanon, China. Any day, all the neighbors and all the locations of South China Sea is a flashpoint which can any day result into armed conflicts. China is already locking horns with India. There are some movement there. Russia, as we know, under Putin's increasing aggression, is trying to bring back the Tsarian era glory for the Russian people, not only in Ukraine but extending it way beyond the NATO. So what can we call it really a beginning of World War III?
The way conflicts are going on and the kind of turmoil which we can see in the world order. So a kind of after the end of Second World War, humanity felt threatened that if another war took place in the world, probably humanity will not survive. And in such a backdrop, endeavor was to strengthen a liberal world order, where liberal world order with two main dimensions, that is a strong democracy world over and interlinkages of economy under the forces of globalization. So as we can see, a lot of turmoil in the democracy itself. We have seen turmoil in democracy within US itself. And 2008 financial crisis has put a dent on globalization, and protectionism is on rise. So liberal world order has become fragile, no one can deny that. Parallelly, we have seen the rise of right-wing world over, and other than that, religious fundamentalism or Islamic fundamentalism putting a clear threat to the liberal world order.
Right.
So in such a backdrop, Russia-Ukraine war is going on from last 2 years, and it has been now it will be going to be 3 years.
3 years now.
Communist China is too vocal and has shown aggressive tendencies, as you said, with the neighborhood. And Xi Jinping has said twice in recent times that will go for the integration of Taiwan, even if we have to use force.
Yes.
And in retaliation, Biden said that if that will happen, US will not shy away from entering into a war with China.
Full-scale war with
So in such a scenario, it seems, yes, it is quite possible. Third World War has not started does not mean it can't start. History repeats itself. We have seen human can't live in peace. The whole history of human civilization is about wars.
Yes.
And in the subject of political science and international relations, the theory of realism is seen as a timeless wisdom. And realists has a strong belief, no matter what, states will fight war. And wars are inevitable. This is a hardcore belief of realist. But it will be like it's not that easy in the present scenario, saying all this, it seems yes, war can take place, but it will not be that easy to start the war. There's one important scholar with the name Joseph Ney. He has said that at present world is in a state of complex interdependence. 2 to 3 days before, even Shashi Tharoor has written
the article
on this line
China's,
only. It seems as if state can go for war, but it will not be easy for any party to afford the cost of the war. So at present, liberals have a strong belief that the kind of interdependence prevails between the states. It will not be easy for the states to go for a full-fledged war.
Right.
They will keep putting dent on each other. They will try to contain each other, but they can't afford to go for a war because of this kind of interdependence which prevails in the world. Parallelly, there's another belief of the realist that when the Second World War took place, it was not a nuclear war. We need to understand this.
Yes.
Only one country was having the nuclear weapon, and that country used it on the other. Even US has not been able to go for a war with North Korea despite hostile statements from Kim Jong to US, threatening them that our missiles can reach onto the shore of US. No one ever threatened US like this before. Despite this, Trump traveled all the way to Singapore for peace talk with Kim Jong.
Right.
So now countries hold nuclear weapons. So realist belief is, as nuclear deterrence prevail, no country can afford to go for a full-fledged war because the kind of destruction it can bring. So it is just a simplistic view to take that we can go for a third world war. It will not be that easy. Now if someone wants to someone wants to go for someone has decided to commit suicide, no one can stop that individual. Okay, no matter what, you can't jail someone and prevent someone from doing suicide. So if a leader comes to this particular, if leader holds this aspiration, even if I have to face complete destruction, annihilation, still I'll go for war. Only then there is a possibility that these major powers will go for a full-fledged war. Yes, tensions has increased, delusion in the liberal world order, political instability prevails, protectionism is on rise, fundamentalism is on rise. This is the reason for the rising tensions and conflict. But whether it will spill into a full-fledged war, I have huge doubts on that.
So you are saying that the conflicts that we see are going to be largely regionally localized, and they will not move beyond the centers that we see those.
Truly, this is my liberal belief that sense and rationality will prevail in the world leaders, and they will not. They will never think of going for a full-fledged war, and they will not try to go for military solutions of the issues. And as Prime Minister Modi has said that when he went to Russia, that it is not an era of war, and we cannot have the political solutions on the. We cannot have political solutions. We should not try to go for political solutions on the military front. We should sit and solutions will. If we should try to bring solutions through diplomacy, as in the recent BRICS summit also, China has agreed to go for the settlement of the border which was prevailing from last 3 years, that is around Galwan. So diplomacy should be the way to go for the solution rather than trying to find solutions on the battlefront.
इसके बाद इंडिया क्या रोल प्ले कर सकता है?
इसमें ये था कि
वॉर रुकवा दी पापा.
World again is dividing into two blocks where India sees itself. World is dividing into two blocks again, sir. But sir, again you can see that the kind of conditions which were just prevailing before Second World War, that is the building of alliances, we can clearly see Russia, China, Iran is coming to one side, and the US and the West is on the other side, and again world is dividing into two blocks. Where you think India sees itself?
Okay. But sir, what these conflicts have done is that just like immediate preceding to World War II, and after that also, it is clearly dividing the world into two blocks. So on one hand you see the West led by US mainly, and on the other hand you see in clear axis being developed. I'm not using the axis power, but I'm saying a clear alliance being developing between like-minded countries which mutual interests like Russia, China, Iran. Do you think Iron Curtain being drowned on the world in the immediate preceding last 2 years?
No one can deny this, that at present there is a complete alignment between Russia and China, and the leaders have said multiple times that their ties goes beyond the limit. So they are ready to engage and cooperate with each other
At any level,
and they are engaging
on any issue,
every issue.
Yeah.
So on one side we can see, and recently North Korea decided to send its soldiers on the front in support of Russia. So clearly we can see Russia, China, North Korea, Iran are aligning. And the US is again trying to create a narrative that the US is standing for liberties against authoritarian regimes. So world, for sure, the kind of division which we can see at present, we have not seen it from last many years after the end of Second World War. So for sure, we can clearly see world is getting divided into two blocks. Now, in such a scenario, what option we are left with? I guess that is more important to understand
discuss.
And discuss. That what options do we are left with? So still, India is not trying to follow a line which is being drawn by West. And as after Second World War, we decided that we're going to protect our sovereignty through non-alignment. Clearly, at present also, India is clearly trying to protect its strategic autonomy by engaging with all the major players and powers. So if we are a part of Quad, we are equally giving importance to BRICS.
Right.
It's not like this that still we do not have as such any tension with Russia. Our bond, our trust is strongly intact with Russia. We still have issues with the US on the political front, on the economic front.
That from non-alignment we are moving towards multi-alignment.
Multi-alignment, we believe in multi-alignment, but more than it is about protecting our strategic
I think this
autonomy.
is the best display of multi-alignment.
Yes.
That without looking into the groups, you take whatever best suits you from everywhere, pick and choose.
Yes. And now we want to counter the Eurocentric narrative which prevails in world affairs. As said by our foreign minister, that the European problems are not the problems of the world, and they need to understand that global south has some different issues. And there's a word prevails in the subject called security dilemma that states go for power politics because of security dilemma. But the stand of the post-colonial scholars, you can say the stand of the leaders of the Asian countries is, you need to understand security dilemma is for the Western countries. For us, it is insecurity dilemma.
Okay.
Means, if you see what are the major threats for India, it is the external or the internal. It is internal threats which are more threatening than the external. So more than external, we have
internal
insecurity
problems.
dilemma. Most of the ethnic violence prevail in third world countries. These countries are yet to become a strong nation states. So intrastate violence prevail in third world. Interstate violence is in the first world. So interstate problems prevails in global north, and global south has totally different problems and issues.
और अब तो इंडिया की खुद की स्टेट है।
तो मुझे लगता है मेरे हिसाब से मैंने सब कह दिया इसमें जो कहना था, इसको और एक्सटेंड नहीं करते हैं।
कैसा अल्टरनेटिव रख सकते हो, क्योंकि रियलिज्म एक टाइमलेस विजडम की तरह काम करता है।
वो रिपीट हो जाएगी वो बात, कह तो दिया।
अलग आर्टिकुलेशन अलग कर सकते हैं।
क्या क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता है?
कंक्लूजन यही कहना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे
तू कह देना कंक्लूजन जो कहना चाहता है।
नहीं आप कहो।
क्या मैं तो कह दिया जो कहना था, तू कह देना जो कंक्लूड करना है। कि सर यू थिंक, सो एज यू सेड रियलिज्म इज अ टाइमलेस विजडम and realists do believe in wars, so these regional rivalries can spill into a full-fledged war. I'll say yes, always it is a possibility.
Same level as we have seen during the time of World War I and World
I'll
War
say
II.
always there is a possibility. Always there is a possibility. I'm not saying war can't take. I just said it will be difficult to start the war. Okay, but it can't take place. We can't deny that.
Because you are talking from liberal perspective.
हाँ,
Most involved है वो
है ना? हाँ, so it is difficult to start the war, but nowhere I'm saying it can't happen.
Okay. So thank you so much, sir. I was going through a phase of pessimism about the uncertainties coming in next 2-3 years, because I was worried that we might see World War III in our own lifetimes. But talking to you makes me believe that it's very, very difficult to start a war at this point of time, and probably it will be a regionally localized set of multiple battles being fought between multiple countries, but given the liberal point of view that you are right now tilted, it is difficult. Maybe the war at the same level that we have seen during the time of the Second World War, but it will not go beyond the areas at which we are seeing the war right now.
Yes, this is what exactly I'm trying to say, that at present it's very difficult to start the war.
Yeah.
But on the other side, difficult to start the war does not mean
It cannot.
It cannot. So continuous efforts required on part of all. Especially we need to strengthen institutions like UN. Strong effort is required to make sure that these regional rivalries, these regional conflicts should not spill into a full-fledged war. And this is the biggest fear among those who are the vocal supporter of the nuke-free world. So this is exactly their point is. Now many say nuclear weapons will never be used because of the destruction they will bring. But those who are the strong and the vocal supporter of nuclear world, their belief is if we are holding these weapons, the day will come and they will be used.
Yeah.
Not being used does not mean they cannot be used.
Yes.
So it is better always to have a world which is free from nuclear weapons. When we are not using it, why we are keeping it? So this is the thing. Yes, where it is very difficult to go for a full-fledged war. But always there are possibilities, and that is why the theory of realism holds timeless wisdom in the subject of international relations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
क्या ताली चलो